In the worst fighting in years between Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group that runs Gaza, a 13-story residential block in Gaza collapsed after one of several dozen Israeli airstrikes on Tuesday.
Ito ngayon ang tensyon ng Hamas o terrorist group sa Gaza versus Israel sa walang humpay na pagbubomba ng mga teroristang grupo sa Israel ay marami na pong nasaktan at mayroon na pong namamatay. Ngunit hindi maiwasan na ang Israel sila po ay gaganti dahil mayroon din silang mga high power para sila po ay umatake. Para po sa inyong kaalaman, ang Gaza po ay control by Hamas terrorist group. Sila po ang nagkokontrol nito. Kung titingnan po natin, majority the Palestinians are terrorist. Marami sa kanila ang mga terorista. Ang Gaza na binubomba ngayon ng Israel, ang Israel ang gumastos para magpatayo ng mga residential building sa Gaza, ngunit ginawa ito nilang imbakan ng mga armas para gamitin laban sa Israel. Ganyan po ka talino ang mga teroristang grupo para paghandaan ang gagawin nilang pag-atake sa Israel. Marami pong mga agam-agam o kuro-kuro na pumapasok sa isipan ng tao ngayon na sinasabi baka ito na po ang katapusan ng mundo. Yung tinatawag na Gog and Magog, yung aatakihin ang Israel ng lahat ng bansa. Kaya ito po yung nakakatakot mga kaibigan na dumating ang time na yun. Pero hindi pababayaan ng Diyos na ipagtanggol ang kanyang bayan. Dahil ang Israel, ito po ay bayan ng Diyos. Sino man ang gustong magpabagsak nito ay ibabagsak ng ating Panginoon. Kaya naniniwala ako na ang mga teroristang grupo kailanman ay hindi magtatagumpay. Nalalapit na po ang kanilang pagbagsak dahil gumanti po ang mga taga-Israel at binumba nila ang Gaza na ito po ang pinagtataguan ng mga armas, at doon ay bumagsak ang ilang mga tower o building at marami pong nasaktan at ang ilan ay nagsilikas. Kaya ang ating lamang maitutulong dito mga kaibigan ay ang mga pananalangin na wag sana umabot sa matinding gulo at magkaroon po ito ng katapusan na. Dahil kung sa ganun mangyari ngayong sinasabi ng Biblia ay talagang yun na ang katapusan ng
الو.
In the worst fighting in years between Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group that runs Gaza, a 13-story residential block in Gaza collapsed after one of several dozen Israeli airstrikes on Tuesday, as rockets also showered down into Israel. Gaza residents were seen sifting through debris. They had been warned to evacuate the area, according to witnesses, and there were no reports of casualties in the block 2 hours after it collapsed. Shortly after the attack, Hamas said it would respond by firing rockets at Tel Aviv. Air raid sirens and explosions were heard around the city, and the skies were lit up by the streaks of multiple interceptor missiles launched toward the incoming rockets. Pedestrians ran for shelter, and diners streamed out of Tel Aviv restaurants as the sirens sounded. 31 people were reported dead, 28 in Gaza and 3 in Israel. Even before a barrage sent in retaliation for the destruction of the tower block, which contained a civilian Hamas office, Israel reported that 480 rockets had been fired across the border by Palestinian militant groups. Israel said it had sent 80 jets to bomb Gaza and dispatched infantry and armor to reinforce the tanks already gathered at the border, evoking memories of the last Israeli ground incursion into Gaza to stop rocket attacks in 2014. The White House condemned this week's rocket attacks. At the U.S. State Department, a spokesman said Israel had a legitimate right to defend itself, but that the primary U.S. focus was on de-escalation.
I will say that our message continues to be one of prioritizing de-escalation, urging calm, urging restraint on both sides.
The Israeli military said many of the militants' rockets fired from Gaza had fallen short and wounded Palestinians, and that Israel's Iron Dome air defenses had intercepted the bulk of those that made it across the border. The fighting between Israel and Gaza's armed factions was triggered by clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on Monday. Jerusalem, holy to Jews, Muslims, and Christians, has been tense during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, with the threat of a court ruling evicting Palestinians in the holy city from homes claimed by Jewish